Welcome to Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in small town rural America. I'm Jennifer Olson, Director of Business Development for the City of Marion, and I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Russ Williams. I'm Director of EThOs, Small Business Incubator, Co-working Spaces, Training Development here in downtown Marion, Illinois. Welcome to the Citadel building here on Tower Square Plaza. We want to thank you, but I also want to thank our sponsors for making this podcast possible. Includes a thank you to Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Southern Illinois Now, the Swinford Media Group, Union Street Arts, and also the Watermark Auto Group Foundation. Jennifer, you found our guest today, so tell us about our guest.
Yes, so I am going to try really hard to get both Jacqueline correct and Berenger.
Yes.
Yay! Okay, it's winner. And actually, I think she found me, maybe. Okay. I'm not sure.
I did. So whenever I was thinking about moving to Marion, I had no idea where to start on finding places for rent. Actually, I started first on my own on Google, and that did not come up with any great results. So I remembered I had actually watched a podcast from EThOs before. So I was like, well, maybe they know where I could start. So I called here, and someone said, oh, you should get in touch with Jennifer. So that I reached out. And that worked out for me.
Our system works.
It did. Awesome. Yes.
That's so good.
And so you have a boutique.
I do.
You started smallish in a neighboring community and are now in a big store in Marion.
Yes. So actually, I started just online. This has all been very fast. I've only had the business for about a year or so now. I had gotten my gallbladder taken out in November of 23, and I was sitting on the couch. My husband, he's a farmer, so it was still harvest time. So he was, out in the field until very late at night. So I was looking for something to do, and I had wanted to start this for years and years, and I just didn't. So as I was sitting there on the couch looking for something to do, I was like, you know what? This would be a great time to start this. So I started online, and then the opportunity came up to have a store in Anna inside the Casper House. So I started there, and then I kind of quickly outgrew that space and was looking for somewhere a little larger. So I decided on Marion.
So online, in person, did you ever do any of the markets or shows in the area?
Yeah, I did. I bought a trailer to set up at events in. So I set up at a couple horse sales in Goreville, and then I attended a couple local things around Southern Illinois. Haven't traveled too far with that, but I do enjoy going to different markets around the area.
The name of your business is?
Roany Pony Boutique.
Okay, tell us about that, and then tell us what the products are. Yeah.
Okay, it's not a fantastic story, really. So I have horses, and I have this one particular mare. She's a bay roan, and her name is Roany. Super original. So back in 2019, I had a online Western clothing shopping addiction. And so I had horses, and I had a lot of vet bills. And at that time, Roany was the one inquiring the vet bills. So I was like, man, I had to slow down on my online shopping during that time frame. So I was like, you know what? I should start a business to, make a little extra money here and there. And I'm like, maybe I could call it Roany Pony Boutique. And I never did anything with that idea for 4 or 5 years. Well, 4 years. So yeah, whenever I started thinking about that name again, I was like, well, now I'm married to a farmer. I could maybe call it Farmer's Wife. I'm like, well, reindeer dad's farmer's daughter. Right. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Roany Pony. Go with my original idea.
Yeah.
So
you are friends with one of our previous guests.
Yes.
Tell us about that friendship.
Yeah, so I actually met her through my husband that farms, because he knows her.
Brandy Renshaw.
Yes, yeah, Brandy Renshaw. And so I had met her a couple times, and then whenever I learned she was opening the Casper House and was looking for another business to move in there, I reached out to her
Yeah.
And so she helped me kind of get started on the in-person retail side of things.
That's been an incubator for small businesses inside the Casper House. Yeah.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
That's awesome. How long were you there doing business?
Almost a year.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us specifically in Marion where we can find your store and what kind of products would people see if they came in?
So I started off as just 100% Western items because that's my style, that's what I like. However, since I've moved to Marion, I've decided to go a little bit more 50-50 on the mix of items that I have. Like I still have a lot of Western, then I have also clothes that aren't, that style. So I'm in the Town and Country Shopping Center over by Harbor Freight Fazoli's. It is where the Spitting Image Boutique was previously. So I'm right there next to SI Tan.
Perfect.
And you may have answered this earlier, but why Marion? Why did you want to move to the big city of Marion, Illinois?
Well, I've always lived in Goreville, so my whole life, whenever I thought, I'm going to go to town is Marion to me. So whenever I was thinking about expanding, Marion's a really, it's still growing exponentially. So I decided if I was going to move somewhere, it would be Marion.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, Brandy was a big supporter of you getting started. Were there other cheerleaders for you that kind of like this? Yeah, go for it. This is
definitely my husband and my parents for sure. My husband and parents are so helpful. Whenever I had mentioned that I had this idea about starting the business, and my husband was like, "Well, just do it." Like, well, there's a lot of hurdles, and he's like, "Just do it. Just go for it." So I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe I should." So he was super glad whenever all my inventory moved out of our basement and moved to a store location. And then my parents, so I have a full-time job. So currently I work my, 9 to 5, and my mom is the one that works mostly during the week for me. So that is fantastic to have parents that are retired and are willing to help me with my, business goals. My dad has been really busy. He did a lot of work getting the Marion store open with just painting and projects. Hey, I need this built. Okay, well, I'll build it and stuff like that. So definitely would not be able to do anything without my husband and my parents.
Can I ask what your day job is?
So I work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Awesome.
I'm a soil conservationist.
wow.
So, soil conservationist, you told me you were a teacher at one point. So those are kind of far from entrepreneur in my mind and retail. So is it something that you think was always kind of there, or are you just evolving?
So I really, I don't know why I've always just internally wanted to be an entrepreneur. I remember writing our town's mayor when I was in 8th grade about setting up an Italian ice business at the park.
Gosh.
Was my passion Italian ice? No. I just really wanted to, I've always wanted to be involved in business. And then when I was in FFA in high school, I had a SAE record book in entrepreneurship. And so I, learned some things in that. And then I went to school to be an ag teacher, and I taught for a little while, high school ag. And we encouraged students to have those entrepreneurship agricultural projects and placement projects. But so I kind of have been involved in entrepreneurship. And then my dad, I guess I probably get that from my dad. He whenever he retired from his job, he started a kettle corn business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And his name is Bob. Super nice guy. So he named it Bob Father's Kettle Corn. He has the best kettle corn ever. But so he started his business, and I saw him doing that. I'm like, well, if my dad can do it, I can do it. We had actually attended a small business seminar at SIU a couple years back whenever he knew that he was wanting to do something after retirement. So I don't know. I've always wanted to do it. It's not that I just always wanted to be in retail, but I do love shopping, and I do love, clothing and new styles and trending things. So just kind of all came together that way.
I love that. I think your response is there's more of a common thread than is obvious. So that's good.
So what are you learning about yourself and about business as you're still early in the business world?
Yeah, so I think I actually started getting into the business world whenever I met my husband, and he was a farmer. And I think what a lot of people don't realize about farming is that almost anybody could learn to put a crop out, but it takes a business person to figure out how to be able to do that year after year and be successful at it. So I guess that kind of started getting me into the business world. And then as my dad started his business, and I was kind of thinking of ways to, help him along. At this point, I forgot what the question was.
What have you learned about yourself and about business in this first year? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's okay.
We
It's
can
okay.
cut that.
We have lots of questions. We don't have to do every single one.
What have I learned? I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, you think about it. We'll come back to it later. How's that?
Sure.
We can skip around. Yeah.
I guess my answer to the business thing, what I've learned, is that I just wing it, I guess. Or I do there's a lot to figure out.
Yeah.
And you kind of just have to.
On-the-job training.
Yeah, on-the-job training. That's a great way to put it. There's a lot of things to figure out, and you don't know exactly what you need to figure out until it kind of hits you. So I've learned that it just kind of keeps going deeper and deeper into things that you can learn about business. But I like continuously learning things, so I guess that's maybe why I enjoy it.
Well, as a follow-up question, what don't you enjoy about the business yet? Like, what is something that's really stretches you?
I'd say that hours are a little bit hard, because with Garrett farming, that's a lot of hours, because I try to help out there when I can. And then just the business in general, it takes a lot out of you. So friends, they're like, hey, let's do something this weekend. Let's hang out. Let's go out to eat. I'm like, oh, well, I can't. So I think I'm not going to say lose a lot of friendships, but it kind of stresses personal relationships when you're trying to have a business or two businesses, because of your lack of time to be able to spend with other people socially. So.
Well, I applaud you for making the choices, sometimes hard, to start early, because that is something that we consistently see about people who are successful later in life. Didn't get there later in life. They started young, and they made the right choices to do that. So sounds like you have a great support system in your husband and your family. So I don't know if you know at this point, but what's the future hold?
Oh, goodness. I would like to stay established in Marion as retail. And I think I just like giving myself, once I get over a certain hurdle, I'm like, okay, I accomplished that goal. Now what? So I do have another goal set kind of involved in wholesale.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's my next, after I get established with the store. I don't know why, but that I would like to kind of set a new goal in getting into the wholesale world. So
very cool.
There's a Shark Tank question, which I don't know if you can actually record or not, but is there a point where you would like quit your day job in order to do this full time, or are you going to try to do both?
Well, that's a great question.
In
a perfect world, I would love to just be able to work for myself and, help my husband when I can and, operate like that. But also, since we would both be self-employed, just nowadays, insurance and that's the biggest hurdle. Just the benefits that a normal job has are hard to give up whenever you would both be self-employed. So Maybe.
Yeah.
I do like my job,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do like doing my own thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've said that many times when we're asked about the barriers to entrepreneurship. I really feel like the $25,000 or $30,000 a year for people to have health insurance for themselves and family just stops a lot of people from taking that leap. Sadly,
It does. Yes.
so how do people find you? Is it from other shoppers? Is it social media? Kind of what drives an audience to seek you out?
That is also that's something I need to work on. Social media is probably the biggest challenge I would say that I face because I am short on time on trying to get all of my business obligations done and trying to have a store set up and, function well. Social media kind of ends up getting the short end of the stick sometimes, which it shouldn't. I do have a Facebook page that has, I guess I'm finally over 1,000 followers at that. So I do have a Facebook. I haven't gotten on Instagram. I haven't made any TikToks. I need to. But hopefully maybe that's something I'll be able to get into in the future. But mostly just by word of mouth and if you're a follower on Facebook. So, and attending the local events. I have kind of met or made quite a few customers attending those. So I will likely continue going to pop-up events and markets here and there just to get the word out that I'm in Marion now.
And maybe you'll look out, maybe your first employee that's not related to you will have some social media skills.
Yes.
That's always helpful too. I see that with a lot of boutiques. They will find somebody that kind of has some talent for that when they're not busy putting out inventory.
Yes.
How do you find your products? Do you have anybody local that's supplying for you, or are you shopping online? How's that work?
So I do have a couple local people that have businesses of their own. So Misty's Melt and More in Anna. I have her wax melts in my store. She does such an awesome job. Everything smells so great. And she's just a wonderful person. So I put her wax melts in my store. I have a friend in Kentucky who makes leather and and silver turquoise jewelry.
Nice.
So her business is Flying A Custom Leather and Silver. So I have some of her products in my store. So I like to support local people. Mm-hmm. So if I run into someone and I'm like, oh, I love your products, I would try to put them in my store. Otherwise, I have some favorite Western vendors that I was personally shopping years and years before I came up with the boutique idea. And then I carry 7 For All Mankind jeans, so those are kind of a specific category of people that like those jeans, and they're not very popular. I don't know of anywhere in Southern Illinois that has them currently. So I definitely, that's one of my main things, because everybody has to go online to find them. And even though I did a lot of shopping online, I'm going to say maybe half of the stuff I bought ended up not fitting or not working out. So I enjoy seeing something, feeling it, trying it on before I actually buy it. So the 7 jeans definitely are an item that people like to try on before buying. So I hope that a lot of people or several people like those.
Well, of course, our friend Brandy Renshaw, big YouTube presence, right? You constantly see YouTube videos of herself. Do you do that, or have you thought about maybe venturing into YouTube so you can highlight some of the products that you have?
I should. Yes, that's one of those things that's like.
Maybe I shouldn't think of ideas, but
an
She's
idea.
Like, I have to sleep. I have to
that's
sleep,
right.
Russ.
Yeah, that's an idea that's kind of on the back burner. I've had that idea, but it's just one of those things that gets put on hold. So
Brandy does it while she's driving a tractor in the field. So yeah.
Well, I do feel like when I think about the ecosystem that's in Marion, in addition to your already committed customers, I think there's probably some cross sale that could happen with McKinney's Western Wear and some of the products at Rural King. And even, I think people are coming to Dillard's, for workwear, but I think it's more fun to buy weekend wear than work wear. But so I think there's an environment here that is going to be conducive. And I think some of the people that I named, McKinney's is a prime destination retailer that people come from a very far area to shop. So I feel like to me, you're like the perfect puzzle piece to drop in our existing boutique culture and our other businesses that have similar items, but not what you have.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to be like anybody else. I'm just have my own thing and
fill a need.
Yes.
Have you found Marion a welcoming place so far? Are there people helping you? Are you getting good vibes?
Yeah, definitely. I've had a lot more support and just people sharing and getting the word out than what I thought I would. I don't have any Marion connections necessarily, like any personal connections. So yes, I have you guys now. So that is great. But so far everybody in Marion has been very welcoming. So I'm excited about that because I was a little worried they wouldn't be. So
a little self-promotion and also speak at SIU. So SIU has the Small Business Development Center. Mm-hmm. They teach workshops. They offer mentoring for small businesses. We do that here at EThOs also. We have small business entrepreneurs that are willing to teach and show people how to help them run their business and learn things like the accounting and the financials, the legal part of that, and the marketing and everything. So just want to invite you to come over to EThOs sometime and maybe take a class.
Definitely would be worth my time doing that for sure.
Well, and I guess the only offer that Russ didn't cover is just if you need connected to somebody, there's somebody that you want to meet or you want to brainstorm with to either be a mentor to you or for you to mentor, that door is open. Would love to make any connections that you need to be successful.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anything we have not asked you that you'd like to share?
That's a good one. I'm not good at just offering up information about myself. I'm not great at that.
So how do people find you? We talked about location, but where is it at and how do people look for you online?
So definitely I have a website. Mm-hmm. However, whenever you have things going in all different directions, one thing usually has to give. So my website is not as updated as it should be, but I do have RoanyPonyBoutique.com, which will have business information on it, hours, and maybe have some new products that you can purchase online. But for the most part, a lot of my inventory is just going to be available in store at my location in Marion, the Town and Country Center. And then you can always find me on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So.
And within Facebook, am I right that you have your regular business page and then don't you have a group also for your loyal followers?
Yes, I do have a group. Facebook, if you post the links to things, you end up usually getting kind of some spam comments. Mm-hmm. So to cut down on that and to not just be posting on my actual business page all the time, I do have the VIP group where I post new things coming in or pre-orders, things that, people that are my more loyal shoppers that buy things more frequently, they like being in that group just to see what's happening. So
yeah, I think that's a great way to carve out and build loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask the why question. Why do you do what you do?
I think I just enjoy a challenge and I enjoy accomplishing something. I like being a business owner. It kind of presents me with different opportunities and I guess joys. So it makes me happy to kind of be doing new things and making new connections. And And then I do enjoy whenever a customer finds a cute new outfit for an event coming up or something of that nature. So I do like interacting with people a lot. So
Awesome.
yeah.
It's interesting that you chose the word joy, because I feel like you're a very joyous person and positive, smiley, but also like I definitely see you as somebody who likes to help others find joy and happiness. And so that's, I mean, certainly your career path has that thread too of.
Well, I ask this, do you have friends that might be in your age group that's doing something similar? Is there any type of peer support there, or
Not
no?
necessarily, no.
Yeah.
Not anybody that I can think of offhand.
So what advice would you give to somebody who might be in similar situation or thinking about starting a new business?
Go for it. Don't. I mean, I probably would have been a little further along if I would have actually acted on my, desire to do this years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better to start now than 5 years from now. But definitely come up with a plan, make some connections, maybe attend some business, seminars, learn some things, and then just go for it. Don't worry about the what ifs, because everything will work out in the end.
Yeah.
Just
So
go
those
for
things that scared you a couple of years ago are not as scary.
Yeah, not as scary now, for sure. Like, I just it is what it is. It'll work out or it won't, but for the most part, it usually does. So
There you go.
yeah.
Well, and I think too, just learning from the things that aren't perfect, and being willing to take that in and pivot. And, it's just the nature of retail. You're going to have some products that you love, but just don't take off for whatever reason, and vice versa. You'll have some surprises. So being willing to adapt goes a long way for sure.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks for joining us on the podcast.
Yep. Thank you for having
You
me.
did
I
wonderful.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Well,
I can't believe this is your first one.
Is it first one? I couldn't tell.
yeah.
You did good.
It's Jacqueline Barringer.
Berenger.
Let me try this again. So, Jacqueline Barringer.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Roany Pony Boutique.
Yes.
I get it all right?
Yes, that is
Okay.
all correct.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. And thank you for joining the Small Town Big Business podcast. Thank you to Arcadia Wealth Group, Banterra Bank, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Southern Illinois Now, Swinford Media Group, Union Street Arts, and the Watermark Auto Group Foundation for being such great supporters of this podcast.
Thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate your support. If there's somebody else that you think would like this content, please share our podcast with them. You can find all of the past podcasts at ethosmarion.org. And when you're in Marion, to go to Roany Pony, located in the Town and Country Shopping Center just behind Fazoli's. Stop in and see me at City Hall. I'm Jennifer Olson, Director of Business Development, and you can find my contact information on LinkedIn.
And I'm Russell Williams, EThOs at the Citadel. Come downtown and join us at the Citadel building, Small Business Incubator, co-working spaces, training development. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.